Now, this is going to be hot stuff. Welcome back to Horrible. Are foreign dollars funding campaign ads in the U.S.? ThinkProgress.org has a report today about the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and the fight for control of Congress. Now, listen to this. Here's what they say. The largest attack campaign against Democrats this fall is being waged by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, which can raise and spend unlimited funds without ever disclosing any of its donors. A Think Progress investigation has found that the Chamber funds its political attack campaign out of its general account, which solicits foreign funding. Faz Shakir is editor-in-chief of ThinkProgress.org and vice president of the Center for American Progress. Faz, thanks for joining us. I've never met you before. Fascinating report. Can you discern where this money's coming from that's apparently going through the U.S. Chamber down here in front of the White House, this powerful building down there, and going to Republican candidates? How's the money run? Where's it go?
Let me just tell you how this works. The Chamber's now running a $75 million unprecedented ad campaign to defeat Democrats. It runs that ad out of a general account. That account, as we reported today, is funded by foreign entities, including foreign-owned corporations. We don't know exactly how that money gets transferred, but we know that all that money is going into a central account that is being used for running attack ads.
So it's fungible. It goes into a big pile of money and it goes out another door.
That's exactly it. And I think, you know,
do you have any way, is there any way they can argue that the money didn't go through that route, it didn't come from that source?
They could argue that they have internal controls, but we're trusting them. And I don't think that that's the proper...
Okay, let's go to this. Just to be fair, here's what the Chamber says. Their spokeswoman, Tita Freeman, said the report is completely erroneous. AmChams, which are these American Chamber units around the world, are independent organizations. They do not fund political programs in the U.S. We have a system in place for ensuring that they are not government-controlled entities. The Chamber is proud to have global companies among our membership. We're careful to ensure that we comply with all applicable laws. No foreign money is used to fund political activities.
We want to know what the system is. They claim they have a system. It's not enough to just simply trust them.
But you also argue, basically, if you throw a pile of dollars into a pile of dollars, what difference does it make where it came from?
Money is fungible. If they're getting foreign funds, it's important for people to know that. I think they're operating as a PAC, Chris. You know how PACs operate. They run ads against candidates. But the difference here is that PACs disclose where they get the money from.
Let's talk about the impact. First of all, let's go to the motive. I always like to know why, if we know why. Why would somebody overseas want to give to a congressional campaign in the United States?
So
free trade?
The Chamber operates like a vessel. Health insurers gave them money to run attack ads against health reform while publicly claiming they were supportive of Obama's efforts. Wall Street bailed out banks, said that, oh, you know, we want regulations, but then gave money to the Chamber to fight regulations. BP,
you mean it's a money laundering operation?
I mean, it's just it's a vessel. And
well, is it a money laundering or are you afraid of that term?
I'm afraid of that term. I don't know exactly what the intents of the foreign companies are, but if the Chamber's record proves anything, it's that the people who give them money for a reason. When BP gave them money, the Chamber turned around and said, okay, we'll lobby against making you.
So well, so your story is the money came in the door from foreign sources. It went out the door in terms of campaign contributions to Republicans to kill Democrats, and that's all you know, and you want to know more.
That's right. If they say they have a system, they should talk about what their internal control should be. We know that the current law prohibits companies from foreign companies from donating into American elections. Now, the Chamber has lobbied against the Disclose Act, and that's important. They say that they want transparency. The Chamber will probably say we have controls, but why are they fighting the Disclose Act?
So we don't know which foreign countries or foreign entities are giving them money.
Here, I have
Give me some examples.
So if you were a Bahrainian businessman and I'm a Chamber lobbyist, you wanted to join, I would hand you this application. This is an actual application that they give to their...
The Chamber does.
The Chamber does. And it says foreign companies are eligible. So you're asking, well, am I eligible? You can give $10,000. But where does your check go, Chris? Right here to Washington, D.C. It's to the general account.
Okay.
So explain your system.
Keep working. Thank you so much. Faz Shakir from American Progress.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's turn now to Maryland Congressman Chris Van Hollen, who's the chairman of the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee. Congressman, what do you make of this charge that the U.S. Chamber of Commerce is basically filtering money from overseas into the pockets of Republican campaigns against your candidates?
Well, it's a very troubling possibility here, because what you would have then is foreign-controlled interests directly trying to influence U.S. elections by using the Chamber of Commerce as a conduit. Here's what we know. We know that the U.S. Chamber of Commerce bitterly fought our efforts to take away taxpayer subsidies, loopholes that went to companies that ship jobs overseas, that outsource American jobs. we got that passed over their vigorous opposition. And the fact of the matter is their position has been one that serves the interests of overseas profits of multinational corporations over American workers and American jobs. So it's not surprising to see them taking these actions in American elections. But what we're seeing is the potential now that out of this big general fund, they are using it, the foreign contributions as part of it. So we need to get to the bottom of it, and the easiest way to do it is for the chamber to disclose and just tell the voters who's putting the money in.
Here's the scary part. You work for an American car company in this country. You work for an American steel company up in Pittsburgh. You're trying to fight for your job. And you find out that somewhere over in Japan or somewhere in Brussels or somewhere, there's some guy with a lot of money sending money over to defeat your Democratic pro-job Senate candidate or House candidate. In other words, they're against free trade. They're against some sort of trade deal. This foreign government that wants that trade deal, that way to open the market in the United States or beat us in some market situation, they're trying to defeat your congressperson. Doesn't that scare you?
It does scare me. And look, this is a moment of truth for the American voter. Are they going to demand, is the voter going to demand that these third-party groups that are dumping millions of dollars of secret money, we don't know exactly where it comes from, into campaigns, are they going to come clean and tell us who's bankrolling them, whose interests are they serving? We know in this case that the U.S. Chamber of Commerce worked hard to stop legislation that would end these taxpayer rewards for offshoring American jobs. But look, 60 Plus is an organization, Chris, that is funded by the health insurance industry, which would make hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars from the Republican plan, which they voted on in their budget last year, to privatize Medicare. So voters have got to wake up and ask themselves the question, why are these outside interests secretly funding these candidates, and what's their agenda? Because I can assure you it's not the agenda that serves the interests of the people in these districts.
How do you get regular people in this country, not far-left people or far-right people, they'll probably vote. How do you get people who are sort of center-left or down-the-middle voters, if you're a Democrat, to get up on the morning of November 2nd and make an effort to vote when they don't have a lot of visceral anger out there? I know the angry people always manage to get to the polling place, but regular people who say, you know, I think Barack's done a pretty good job. I like the health care thing. Let's see how it works. I don't like the tax breaks going only to the rich. They agree with your party, but they do with less passion than the other side, the haters, do. How do you get them to vote?
Well, look, they need to be reminded about the fact that the day Barack Obama took office, we were losing 700,000 jobs every month. We've made significant progress since then. We're not where we want to be, but we're making progress. Why in the world would we want to return to a set of policies that served some narrow special interests and took the economy into the ditch? And what we're seeing now is all these outside groups, whether it's Americans for Prosperity, 60 Plus, or now the U.S. Chamber ads that are coming in, they were very well served by the Bush economic agenda. That agenda didn't serve the vast majority of people in this country. Those groups are fighting hard to take us back. And this is a wake-up call, Chris, to people who don't want to go back. And this latest issue about foreign-controlled interests trying to influence the outcome of American elections should send a little shockwave through the electorate.
Okay, thank you very much, U.S. Congressman Chris Van Hollen, Chairman of the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee.